Hello and welcome once again. It's the Widdowmaker Racing League. This is the GR4 League from round 4 at the Redbull ring. We're on the short circuit today. Standings for the current league. We have a number of players out today, but we'll go through the driver entry list very shortly. But you can refer back to those league points and standings. Round format. There's a qualifying reverse grid, 60-minute race where all 3 tyres must be used. So we'll just do a quick tour of the circuit. The fast start finish straight leads to a 90-degree right-hander where you have to make a decision between speed and penalties on the exit of the corner. And there's that yellow deadly line. That line, if you cross that line too far, you're likely to attract a penalty and you'll race down to the long sweeping 180-degree second corner. You'll see a number of overtaking moves here, I'm sure, today. It's quite surprising the transition of height between turn 1, which is quite an elevation from the start line, and then the run down to this corner. It makes this corner very difficult with a potential double apex depending on how you run it. And there's the famous bull that we saw at the start, the famous image that accompanies the Redbull ring, and it's visible from virtually every part of the circuit. So the field today will be GR4 cars as always. As they make their way away from this corner, they come through the fast S's, leading up the hill to where they have to spend those penalties, which I'm pretty sure they're going to earn today. After you've paid your penalty, you're going to make your way into a series of 2 right-handers, which includes the pit lane entry, which can cause its own confusions. And also this is the key place where you'll earn penalties today. We just got to hope that there's not too much lag in the server, because this is potentially the biggest cause of penalties alongside this corner. So there we are as you come off that final 90-degree bend. If you've clipped the yellow curb in the centre of the corner, there's a highly likely that you'll run the car wide. The ideal is to keep just 2 tyres on the red and white and make your way down to the start finish line again, completing another circuit. The pit lane is also where we'll spend a lot of time today. The ideal is to just have the 2 stops changing from hards to mediums and then mediums to softs, or the other way round. Here's the qualifying lineup. The fastest driver today, so he'll go to last on the grid, is BB with a 52.366. And here he is lining up on the grid. We had a slight technical issue. He was the fastest qualifier today, so we've had to reform the grid in the first lap, and we've chosen to do that in the first couple of 100 yards. Big Popper qualified second. His league position is 6th. He's the last round pole sitter, so he's done really well over the last 2 rounds with a 52.475. Really representing well. Winner just returned to the league today from a couple of weeks hiatus. He's standing in P10 in the league, and he qualified with a 52.759, which is really respectable 3rd place. Big Marsh, current league position P4, one of the top runners, one of the top contenders. The previous winner of a round, he qualified today with a 52.973. Widdowmaker, league position 5, not bad representation for himself, could do better I think is his mantra. He qualified with a 52.983. JB, again had a couple of weeks off in the league, but he's currently standing is 7th. He qualified with a 53.007. There's a number, JB007, makes sense. As 43, qualified with a 52.771. Again, somebody else who's had a week off already, but he'll make do with that. League position 8, Deadly Backlight, learning so much in this league. He qualified in pole for the race with a 53.234. So that's us underway then. The race got away after the first couple of corners. Everybody orderly. And as we can see, there's just a little bit of lag forming already, so we'll have to manage that. Winner going to the pits almost immediately, so he's going to drop his hard tyres and change straight onto a different set of tyres. He's going to ditch those and get away with them. He'll be able to run in free air at the back. He won't need to take fuel at this point. BB comes through, taking up that position. Just waiting for Winner to enter into pits and take his tyres. So Deadly leads the field away, starting to build a bridge, starting to make that gap form. Winner pulls into the pits. As you can see, it's such a long time from pit entry to getting the car worked on. Hards off, just a splash of fuel, and then he's away. Back onto the mediums. Back to Deadly now, just coming round to end lap 2. Widdowmaker in second, Big Marsh third. As in fourth. JB in 5th place. Big Popper in 6th. It looked like there was a little bit of incident there, and JB picks up a 2-second penalty. That must have been for transitioning across that line. BB pulling up in 7th. That's going to really frustrate JB. Winner there, just exited the pits and he's coming round now in free air. He's going to be able to make leaps and bounds. Nobody in his way. Medium tyres, he's going to be able to run faster than the entire field. As putting in the purple sector to take the first split fastest time. Current fastest lap is with Deadly backlight, one would assume, as he's been out first lap round. It's not actually shown on my screen. And has also picked a penalty. I failed to see where he picked that up there. A little bit of lag interfering with the driver's lines. Again, another frustration. JB will have spent his penalty and he's dropped down to 7th place. Down the way to the back of the field. Deadly putting in some decent times. There it is now. The fastest lap sits for Deadly of 54.117. Widdowmaker looks to be just holding up the field, and Az comes round to serve his penalty. You might get away with not losing any places there unless BB's going to come through. Well, 1.5 is more than just a list. Big Popper picked up a penalty also. So that the fear we had that everybody will start to earn penalties is coming true. Let's just see where we are. Deadly first, Widdowmaker in second, Big Marsh third, Az still running free air in 8th, Az in 4th, BB in 5th, JB 6th and Big Popper in 7th, as we just watched Winner run round in free air, as we've said. 54.188, just outside the fastest lap. Just trying to get those tyres into temperature, and it won't be long before he's putting some decent laps in. Here we go, we're going to go in car. As he just put in a 53.920, let's see what he does on this lap. Just clips that inside apex, takes the car out to the yellow line but doesn't cross it. Up into 4th gear as he comes up into this corner, down to 3rd. It's an interesting transition. There's the purple sector at the first split. Over the rumble strips, they can be quite upsetting to the car. Through the penalty line, up the hill, and he's going to brake somewhere around the 75 to 50 point. He actually brakes way past. Manages to make the corner. There's a little bit of lag interference, one would suggest. Comes around to take that final corner. Let's see what time he puts in. Another purple, 53.789. Fastest lap of the race to date. He is the only one running on mediums. So we flick back to Az, middle of the pack. Deadly backlight leading them out. Widow second, Big Marsh third, Az in 4th, BB in 5th, JB 6th, Big Popper in 7th and Winner in 8th. So JB's just managed to move up one place on Big Popper as he spent that penalty, one would suggest. Az cut that apex really tight. Az comes round, takes that fastest lap again, 53.724, that's a great lap. Flirting with the penalties, but you can't fault it. Actually looks like he's starting to pull away from BB there. Deadly still holding that first place, keeping Widdowmaker at a distance. He's running those softs, I think. I think he's on soft tyres, so he's just managed to keep ahead. How much life he's going to get out of those soft tyres. We know Widdowmaker's on hards, Big Marsh is on hards, Az is on hards, everybody's on hards, one would suggest. BB's really got the hammer down chasing, and BB's picked up a penalty. So JB is just pushing BB. Big Popper's on their tail, pushing hard. It's a severe penalty actually to qualify at the front end of the grid, then put to the back of the pack when you've got such a close running field. All times pretty even, pretty consistent. I know Deadly would suggest he's probably one of the slowest in the pack, but he's not on a good set of tyres. He's a good challenge to overtake. Az picks up a penalty. So Az and BB running together with penalties, they'll dispense of those. Az runs a little bit wide. Is he going to be able to hold it? Very difficult to pass round there when you're alongside. That's fairly cleanly done. Az just lost out with a bit of traction loss on the inside curb. He's trying to make his way out the way, ghosts, and allows JB and Big Popper to overtake them. So whereas in BB were taking the risk, JB and Big Popper are able to capitalise and pull it through. So let's have a look where we are with the current standings. Deadly backlight in first, Widdowmaker in second, pushing hard. Big Marsh in third. Here we go back to the front. We can see the run, and Widdowmaker's just looking to make that pass now. Takes the inside line at the second corner hairpin, and he's got that easily done. That'll be the shine gone off the tyres of Deadly. Winner still running round in last. Not too far off that fastest lap. He's again taking the shine off those mediums. So Widdowmaker's job now is just to put the hammer down, keep pressing, keep what he's doing. No penalties. That will be the secret to getting to the front and keeping it. These two have done really well actually to get away, make that gap. Look, there's that gap to Big Marsh already. No penalties in the front half of the field. Everybody behind fourth has had a penalty. And Az picks up another penalty coming through that complex. Oh, that's got to be so frustrating. Because as we've seen, that 1 second is more than just a lift. That'll actually put a gap between you and the car in front. You'll have to do all that work again. So as winner comes round to complete his lap 9 and start lap 10, the leaders are around the back half of the track. It might look like he's given up a lot, but as it stands, the rest of the field will have to pit, and he will suddenly be back in the running. As long as he can make his tyres last that long. He's on mediums, the rest of the field except for Deadly are on hards. Oh, and that looks like JB strayed wide. Is that going to be a penalty for JB? No, he got away with that. That just looked like lag. So there's a battle on between these two now for 4th and 5th. BB's just managed to break open a gap between him and Az due to the penalties, but he's also falling back. These two really pushing hard, running competitively. Very good close racing. Really is quite a short circuit here, just 54 seconds for a lap on mediums and hards. You expect somebody to be dipping into the 53s on mediums and then 52s on the softs in qualifying format. A 51 wouldn't be out of sorts. We can see all in the same image there, down to 6th place on the start finish straight. It's still pretty close. Gaps are forming, but they will all sort themselves out and pretty much together, I think, with pit stops. The consumption variants are not massive between these cars. Tyre difference, tyre degradation is quite a substantial thing. If you can get the tyres to go an entire tank of fuel, that would be something else. I don't think there's many cars can do that. I think maybe Deadly has the ability to... Deadly has the ability to stretch the tyres, but I think Big Marsh more has the ability to stretch a set of hards to go all the way, maybe even mediums. There we go, JB puts in another lap, followed closely by Big Popper. This looks like the closest battle of the race at the moment. JB almost executes that corner perfectly just to break out a little gap. Deadly Big Marsh just popping in another purple sector time at sector 1, sorry. His current fastest lap is inside the 53s at 53.966 as he pursues Deadly down. No fear of any penalties there. JB's just opened a bit of gap now on Big Popper. His fastest lap of 53.942. Big Marsh still running the 54s though, not managing to dip into the 53s, but it's not about who's fastest at this point, it's about track position. Keeping those tyres, keeping that car on the track, no penalties is key. He looked to take a dive up the inside, but Deadly's resisting that. Widdowmaker just managing to increase that gap as Big Marsh again puts in that first sector split. Deadly backlight is actually resisting it well. Doesn't look under pressure at all. Looks to be comfortably keeping pace on lap 14 on that set of softs. As Big Marsh goes to the pits, well, that's an early change. If he's going to come off hards at that point, he's going to have to go to mediums. He is on hard, so he's just used half a tank. JB coming around in fourth. He's going to pick up third. Big Popper's going to move up to fourth. As Big Marsh mounts his pit team are waiting for him patiently. We can see another of other pit crews potentially waiting to take stoppers. Doesn't look like anybody else has any intention of pitting right now. That's 15 laps in on a set of hards. Winner comes through. He's just going to move up to 7th, so he's already made the jump on anybody who hadn't pit stopped already. So that goes to show running in free air is going to give him just 2 to 3 car lengths advantage over Big Marsh. So he hasn't done badly. Big Marsh was running in third. If you think that Winner was actually running in something like 6th place off the start line, he's actually made 3 places at this point because he's overtook the car in third. JB and Big Popper going head to head up the hill. Is there a chance of an overtake here? Big Popper managed to close that gap that we last saw that was probably 2 or 3 car lengths. JB goes wide. Will that be a penalty, giving BB the opportunity to pass? There it is, 2 seconds on this occasion for JB. Last time it was 1.5 seconds. That must be producing... It's gone up to 2.5 seconds. That must be producing blue air in that cockpit. Severe conversations going between himself and the pit wall. So that's Big Popper up to third. Widdowmaker still stretching his lead over Deadly backlight. And you can see a little bit of lag interfering with the game again. So on lap 16, we've had 2 pit stops so far. We've got a fastest lap with Az at 53.724 as JB spends his penalty. Still not happy, I can bet. So JB down in 5th. Let's just run through where we are. Az down in 6th. Winner in 7th. Big Marsh in 8th. This looks like the closest battle at this moment in time. But this one's all about the early stop battle. Let's jump on board with Big Marsh. Live in car. So this is as it happens in the race. Winner in front of him. We get to see the inside of the 4C with this action camera. Will he get purple sector? Yes he does. Purple sector at this point of the lap. He's done that lap after lap actually. He really likes that inside curve there in the fast S's. Up the hill, looking to make the right turn. Where's he going to brake? He's not going to overrun the line. Dive into the final corner on the throttle. Where's the fastest lap time going to go? Is he going to take it off as? Yes, he does. 53.304. We flick back to Widdowmaker at the head of the field. He's now starting to pull out quite a large gap on backlight. Here it is. It's some 25-30 car lengths now. Not setting blistering lap times. He's just running in the average 54s, the occasional 55, but mid 54s running consecutive. Big Popper in third, BB fourth. That's a close battle currently. JB in fifth, and Az picks up another 2-second penalty. They're starting to total up now. Winner in seventh, running ahead of Big Marsh, just pushing on. It's a shame we can't see the gap between them and sixth. We know they're going to start to reel Az in if he keeps really popping those penalties in. But we made our way very quickly up to lap 19s. These laps are going to tick off. They're only 53, 54 seconds. They really will start to tick past, and this hour will disappear. We're over 15 minutes now of the race gone. So Widdowmaker's fastest lap of 53.753 in comparison to the 53.304, and Widdowmaker is actually on hards, so that Big Marsh lap on mediums is put into perspective there. We're only on lap 20. Widdowmaker looking to potentially run a full tank. We could see him run all the way to lap 32, 33 if he wanted to. All depends on the tyre degradation. Once that tyre starts to fall off, those lap times will fall away. You can look at BB's lap times there, all at 53s. JB's all in the 54s with 155. He's suffered a little bit through penalties. As previous fastest lap of the race, he's just slipped into some 54s. Won't be long before he's looking to pit, one would suggest. Just negotiating that corner, just keeping out of trouble, pumping the laps in, and Deadly doing really well. 21 laps, second place. Lag really affecting the race now. Gonna make overtaking a little bit tense as we go on. You can't really predict the line of the cars, you can't predict where somebody else is. All you gotta hope is to take in the sensible line. So Big Popper and BB now running round line of stern. Closest battle on track right now, apart from Winner and Big Marsh, and there goes BB really wide. I wonder if that's lag. We'll find out any minute. It was wide. That's a penalty, 1.5 seconds. Just what you don't need. So just as close as Big Popper and BB, Winner and Big Marsh. They're just on different strategies now. As long as they're running free air, not disturbing each other, they are making gains, and believe me, they will be. I think the only disadvantage there for Winner is the fact he's made that extra unnecessary pit stop. I say unnecessary. If he doesn't like running on the hards, the best thing to do is get off them, but you've added an extra pit stop, an extra stationary run down this start finish line. This pit lane is an extremely long stop. So there's BB in fourth. Just looking at that gap forwards, the Big Popper is some 15 car lengths. JB a similar distance back in fifth. And as again, similar distance back in sixth. So the gaps are starting to appear. You can see Winner back there in seventh. And only 3 or 4 car lengths behind him is Big Marsh. 23 laps down. which isn't technically, it's 22. But we're on the 23rd lap. The leaders will be just coming around to finish that now. Widdowmaker will be just completing it. As Deadly looks, as Big Marsh looks like he's just planning to make a move on Mr. Winner. As Deadly backlight goes to the pits. As comes round in 6th place, we're looking to see where potentially Deadly will come out. And we can confirm he was on softs, and As goes to the pits as well. As is our 4th stopper. JB moves through, goes up to 4th place. As Deadly comes in to see his crew. He's going to drop off those softs, and what tyres is he going to go on to, we wonder. Winner has stopped for the 2nd time. Going off the mediums, what tyres will he go to? One can only suggest he'll be back on another set of mediums. Widdowmaker comes round to complete lap 25, lapping all the cars that are stationary in the pit lane. So everybody in the pit lane is going to go 1 lap down. Shall we see where Az comes out in reference to Widdowmaker? Widdowmaker's put him a lap down on lap 24. So the first lap cars happen on the 24th lap, and out comes Winner into last place. Widdowmaker now on lap 25. Second is Big Popper. Here he comes through, and he's picked up a penalty, so immediately at the point where he's starting to really make inroads into the race, he's got the disadvantage of having to stop and shave off time. Big Popper in 3rd, JB in 4th, charging up the hill. Big Marsh in 5th, also with a penalty. Oh, there's a glut of them happening now. Big Popper goes to the pits, frustrated at having served that penalty. So he's gone in on mediums. We expected him on hards to start the race, but to do 25 laps on mediums is pretty decent. JB up to 3rd, and then Big Popper's pit crew waiting for him with a new set of shod boots. And here he comes. Where will he come out? He's got to fuel up. Big Marsh goes past the end of the pit lane in 4th place. I think he came out of the pits in 8th place, and he's made his way back up to 4th. Deadly in 6th. Big Popper comes out the pit lane. Where's he going to come in relation to Deadly? He's just lost out, but will he be able to make it? They're drag racing down to turn 2. Who's going to get there first? Oh, Deadly outbrakes himself and just runs onto the grass. And he bumps the pit wall. It's not the pit wall, it's the outer wall, the crash barrier. Oh, that's never good. Unlucky. Just into the gravel, onto the rubber beads, and it just slid the car wide. So JB's up to 3rd, BB's in 2nd. Just trying to understand the gap between 1st and 2nd. There you can see it as Widdowmaker crosses the line. BB is some full length of the pit straight back, one would guess. We can't see him. There he is. He is the full length of the strip back. So BB hasn't pitted, and neither's Widdowmaker. Widdowmaker's been able to make a big gap due to penalties further down the field. Widdowmaker hasn't accrued a penalty as yet. Winner running in last place is just behind BB, so he's a lap and 2 cars down. Is Winner. Widdowmakers looks to have let Az go past and unlap himself. JB in 3rd. Just see the lag there. Big Popper in 5th place. Az in 6th. That looks like a hot little battle that's about to happen. Oh, he flew the apex of that corner there. See the heat haze coming off the track there. It is a warm day. The tyres are gonna not be cold for long. So currently, Widdowmaker's yet to pit, BB has yet to pit, JB's yet to pit. Everybody from 4th down has pitted. So as these guys start to go in, the top 3 runners will start to understand where they lie in terms of strategy. We'll start to understand. Widdowmaker has gone to the pits. So we'll start to still understand just whose strategy gives them the best advantage. Was Widdowmaker being held up in the early part of the race by Deadly Backlight? We start to see him in the pits. BB now takes the lead as Widdowmaker pulls into his pit box. Those hard to come off. He completed 29-30 laps with those tyres on. And he's now going to take a full tank of gas. So he's down to 4th place as Big Marsh goes past. Not forgetting Big Marsh pitted some 16 laps ago on lap 14. Will Az overtake Widdowmaker? Az was 1 lap down. No, Az clearly won't. Widdowmaker comes out the pits in 4th. So Big Marsh has made the advantage there. He's managed to gain 2 places from that early pit stop. But he's going to have to run those medium tyres that he's on. BB's now gone in 1 lap later than Widdowmaker. Again, we'll see BB pit and we'll see where he comes out, whether he's ahead or behind Widdowmaker. My guess is at this point he will be behind Widdowmaker, but the gap won't be massive. JB now takes up the mantle of the lead position. We know JB was frustrated earlier in the race. Big Marsh now goes past BB. So again, Big Marsh's strategy seemingly to work. BB was running 54 lows, low 54s, some 53s. Widdowmaker comes past BB now. Where are we going to see him? He's just taken 80% of the fuel. So he's still going to be some way behind Widdowmaker, but he's come out on mediums. Widdow's tyres will now be warmed up as JB comes around the final 2 corners. Manages to keep it inside the penalty line, so no dramas. Big Marsh in 2nd, chasing down JB. JB's tyres now probably starting to look old. His fuel level is going to be looking low as Widdowmaker in 3rd place comes round. He's made a position purely because BB's pitted. BB came out in 5th, so we also dropped down 4 places. He actually dropped down 5 if you think about it. Az comes through, puts in the fastest lap of the race, a 52.726. Can't fault him on that one. Restoring the fastest lap to his possession. That fastest lap is worth 1 point at the end of the race for the person that holds the fastest lap. Widdowmaker in 3rd, just putting some consecutive 53s down. That's not too bad. And JB takes to the pit on lap 32, going into 33. He only got it down to 6% fuel. So Big Marsh is going to come round and take the 1st place, and that shows to show just what his strategy has been like. Taking that early pit on lap 14, pushing those mediums and pushing them long. Is Widdowmaker going to come through and pass JB before? There he goes, before JB hits the pit stop. Here we go. He's going to go from hards to mediums, or is he going to go hards to softs? Is he going to put a fast centre middle stint in? That would mean he'll take less fuel purely to be able to run those soft tyres fast and take a longer pit stop next time round. JB's taken the softs, but he fueled 100%, so he's taken a whole tank of fuel. A longer stop this time, and then he's going to run those softs hard with a full tank. Winners down in 8th place. Deadly Backmarsh just making to keep him honest. Big Marsh now runs into lap 34 on the front of the field. Widdowmaker returning to second place. Just need to try and understand what that gap is. We'll be able to see him behind him. It looks like Marsh has got quite a big gap there. Can we see who it is just about to run into the corner? It is Widdowmaker. There they are. They're both in the same shot. So it'll be the next person to pit would be Big Marsh, one would expect. Just looking down my notes now. That says everybody has pitted. The first round of pits is done. Winner has pitted twice and he's now in 8th place. Az and BB contending 3rd place at this point. It looks like an up and coming battle to be seen and watched. We haven't had any penalties really in the last 10 or 12 laps as the pit stops has happened. People are sat on better tyre wear. Personal best for BB. Looks like a 52.986, just dropped below the 53s. He does need to put pressure on at this point of the race. He's on a fresh set of mediums, having only been pitted to... Oh, and Az picks up a 1 second penalty. That must have been on the exit of T1. Or did he clip the apex? And at that point, BB picks up what is potentially the fastest first split. Can he keep the purples going? Is he going to take that fastest lap from Az? Which will really be disappointing for Az, considering he's got a 1 second penalty, which he can't spend this lap. He'll have to spend it the next lap. So we'll just frustrate BB that little bit more by being in front of him for a whole lap. But what you do know is the driver behind. BB doesn't take the fastest lap of the race, but he certainly improves his own PB. Going to a 52.893. He set his own PB in the last 3 consecutive laps. Az is now getting the signal that he will be slowing down for 1 second, and that 1 second will allow BB to go ahead by 4 to 5 lengths. It's more than just a lift, it's actually potentially a full change down of a gear. You just see the distance he pulled out straight away. It's at the fastest part of the circuit there up that hill. It's the fastest part of the back half of the circuit. Az then decides to go to the pits, so he's going to ditch that set of tyres. He's coming off the softs, which didn't really pay out, but you can see with Az, he's been putting in some 52s as BB comes past, confirms that 3rd place for himself, and Az starts to drop down the field. Big Popper now up to 4th. Looks like JB's going to manage to squeeze his way past, but that really was it for those tyres for Az. It did the job though. He put the fastest lap in. He's still on plan. And Winner picks up a 2 second penalty as he comes past to overtake Az in the pits. At this point of the race, only one driver has yet to accrue a penalty, and I'll leave you to guess who that is. Yep, just looking across my notes, every driver bar one has taken a penalty at this point of the race. Deadly Backlight has somehow managed to find himself at the back end of the field. He's slowly worked his way backwards, not deliberately of course. It's just as a consequence of the pit stops coming off those softs. He was running 54 mediums on those softs, but he's not managing to put in anywhere near consistent laps on those hards that he's running now. But he must have done the best part of 25 laps on them softs. And I know if he stayed on softs all day, he could continue to do that and he'd perform better. Big Popper in 4th, just dipping his times into the 53s. JB on the cusp of 52s. His fastest lap so far of 53.075. On lap 38. JB comes round to complete lap 38 and move on to lap 39. He picks up a half-second penalty. We just saw that occur. That was from his right-hand tyre crossing the red and white curbs to the outside green as he went through that final corner. Again, that's the air's going to be blue in that cab. The only decent thing with getting that penalty there is the fact you can serve it on the lap you get it. Half a second penalty really is just a throttle lift. It's just enough of a blip. It will let somebody past, but it doesn't damage your throttle time, your lap time that much. Winner's now made himself up to 6th place, having overtook Gaz and Deadly back like courtesy of pit stops. And there they are as we talk about them. Big Marsh has now overtaken Deadly. So that puts Deadly back into the lapped reaches. The round of pit stop allowed a number of drivers to unlap themselves. Unfortunately, lap 40, Deadly made it all the way to lap 40 before being lapped. That's a tremendous effort, to be honest. So Big Popper in 4th place. He's recently pitted. He pitted back on, just looking at my list. No, he pitted ages ago according to this. Should be in 4th place as we move over on to Winner, just serving another penalty. Frustration levels are mounting, but that gives Az the opportunity, who's driving hard. Big Popper, we were just trying to sort out when he was pitting next. He last pitted somewhere in the region of lap 25, so he shouldn't be too far off his next pit stop, one would imagine. He ran mediums first and then progressed on to hards. Oh, and he just strayed wide again on those hard tyres. It looks like he's going to stray, miss the apex on the second half the corner, and he picks up that 1 second penalty. It was quite clear to see where he picked that up. As JB ran through that bend, he's going to see that 1 second. And Az and Winner are now really close. This could be a battle for position here. I don't know if it's going to be disturbed by any pit stops. One would suggest that this is on the road position fighting, so this is going to be close. This should be a good battle. And if the race director will allow us to stay with them and watch it. Both drivers will be cautious. Both have had a number of penalties throughout the race. I wonder if they're going to chuck caution to the wind and just say, sod it, let's go for it. Let's see if we can make the pass. Az really is starting to look like he's lining Winner up for a take into the final corners. But then accelerating out the corner, that McLaren's got some oomph. It looks to have just put that gap in. Some real stunning racing. This is for 6th place. As we said at the start, this is going to be a real close, tight, even field. They will be racing all the way down it. All the way through the race they'll be racing. As we just tick the 40th minute of the race. See how quickly it's running past? Lap 43. Is going to be able to tee up this passing opportunity. Az holds the fastest lap of the race at this time, at which point he lost traction there coming over that inside curb, which just opens up that gap again for Winner. He's just able to pull ahead. Lap 43, and he picks up another penalty as he comes through that apex. You can see that he picked that up as he went round the first of the final 2 corners. JB in 5th. Lap 44. He's run the hards and then the softs. Back to the winner as fight. As is really starting to look like he wants to be in front, but that 1.5 seconds is going to put Az some 10 car lengths down. But is he going to put himself into the realm of Deadly backlight sort of area? Deadly's just fallen a little bit further back. Big Marsh in first, just keeping his head in front. Widdowmaker in second. Looks like BB starting to close in on Widdowmaker. He's really started to close that gap up as we come round to start lap 46. Big Popper, fastest lap of the race, a 53.534. JB a 53.075. In 5th place. And he's taking that tight line to dive into the pits. This will be his final pit stop by the looks of it. Just checking the notes. Yeah, lap 45. It looks like he's about to go on to a set of mediums. As he runs in on the softs, he's used 38% of the fuel. There's a potential here where he could just fill up a short fill to take him to the end. He's only got 17.5 minutes of the race to complete. On medium tyres should be suitable to get him all the way to the end. And Big Marsh takes to the pit lane as well. On absolutely zero fuel. That was beautifully timed as Widdowmaker goes through and picks up first place. JB released from his pit box and he returns to the track. He will be 1 lap down. No, he won't. He's managed to keep ahead, but BB is now right on the tail of Widdowmaker. Both on medium tyres. As Big Marsh takes a set of mediums. Does he take mediums? Mediums came off. He'll be taking softs, looking at my notes. So that's going to be his last stop. He's going to have to run round about 20 laps, maybe 18, 19 laps on this set of softs. 72% of fuel gone in the car. It's really starting to hot up. Widdowmaker puts in a 54.007. Az puts in a 53. So not Az. BB puts in a 53. I was just going to say, Az's fastest lap not yet under threat at 52.726. But there's still time for somebody to run a faster lap, and at this moment in time it looks like BB has that skill. He has that capability and he's the right place to do it. Big Popper up in 3rd. Big Marsh in 4th. He's starting to make that cut back, having stopped for that last time. Winner goes to the pits on a set of mediums. Just as we look, he looks like he's ready for his final pit stop. He's going to be moving on to a set of softs. So BB really has lined up Widdowmaker now. Here we go. Is the opportunity here now to take the inside line and dive into this corner. Widdowmaker will leave in the room. Widdowmaker's running the outside line. BB cuts it in too tight, hits the grass, loses traction. And he's just lost that grip. Widdowmaker runs down the inside and has managed to keep his nose in front. That was what happens when you make the car exceptionally wide but leave the line. Maybe BB was surprised that Widdowmaker gave the room and he went tighter, expecting to be squeezed. As we come round to complete lap 49 and on to 50. Widdowmaker in first, BB second, Big Popper third, Big Marsh fourth, Az in fifth as BB takes the line. JB in sixth, Deadly in seventh, Winner in eighth. And there he goes, he takes first place, but no, Widdowmaker comes back up the outside. Much faster line by Widdowmaker round the outside again. Is he going to be able to cut his nose in front? Widdowmaker leaves in the gap, he leaves a sensible amount of room, but again comes round in front. Exceptional driving from both drivers. One to leave enough room and B to have the cojones to go and take that pass and defend it. Big Popper drops to the pits now. Let's see where we are. Where's my notes? Big Popper, he's come off a set of hards. He'll be going on to softs, lap 49.50. Yeah, he'll be making his last stop now to run it all the way to the end. Big Marsh in third. We've forgotten. It's been a while since we talked about Big Marsh's strategy. He's on his final stop now. He's had his final stop. He's on his final stint. So he's got to come good as we wait for the other drivers to come in and pit. There's Deadly still running those laps, putting consecutive times in. Look at those 54s. Widdowmaker doing the same. So there's nothing wrong with Deadly's lap times at this point. Widdowmaker having to hold back BB. Definitely holding him up. BB could be running his fastest potential laps here, but Widdowmaker's just a roadblock for him. I think the lag that the racers are experiencing is causing tremendous amount of difficulty in making sure that you get a good clean pass. You really don't want the lag to affect you and knock each other off the track when it isn't deliberate. So let's look down to these list of stops, who has and who hasn't. JB picks up another 2-second penalty, which isn't going to be fun in that cockpit. Does that give Big Popper the opportunity? Big Popper, just whilst he sees that, just lets the car go. Oh, he just spins across the grass and he's just got to give it up a wee while just to let the leaders go through. Widdowmaker and Beep. Oh, we know he'll be kicking himself at that. As Deadly goes in for what looks like his final stop now. Is he going to go on to mediums, we think? He came off the hards and BB gives it up, knowing that he's going to struggle to overtake Widdowmaker. And he goes to the pits for his final stop. Coming off the mediums to go to softs. He actually run a shorter stint than Widdowmaker that time round. He's probably burnt a lot more fuel. He probably only ran 18-19 laps on that set of mediums. As Widdowmaker comes round and in comes BB. Let's see if we can see the condition of those tyres. We can't. Big Marsh in second place now, picks up a penalty, half a second. So he'll have overrun the final outside edge of that wall. He'll have picked that up as he returned to the start-finish straight. BB takes 5th. Oh, Widdowmaker so close to incurring a penalty then. His mediums must be just starting to feel the edge of the grip. Big Marsh about to serve that penalty as he goes up the hill. Here it is. And there it is spent. His fastest lap of 52.881, not too far off the fastest lap of the race. BB pushing hard now, that pit stop served. We're waiting for Widdowmaker to take to the pits potentially. As in 4th. Will As be on his final stop, just looking to see if he's got a no. He's actually on his stop, so oh, and he goes wide, spins off to the left, he goes into the pit lane. There was all sorts of chaos there with the graphics. I was just looking down to see when his pit stop is. His final stop, 53. This is him. Yeah, he's going to go in to potentially take a set of mediums, it looks like. He was on mediums. He's going to go to softs. Widdowmaker takes to the pits with 16% fuel left. So he's running the region of 23 laps on those mediums. And then it's all coming down to this pit stop to see who's got it. So this means Big Marsh, having pitted early, will now take to the head of the field, and he'll be on a lot older set of tyres. Let's have a look at the count back. Let's just see where we go. He pitted on lap 46, so he's going to expect his softs to do 20 laps, whereas Widdowmaker, pitting on lap 55, is only going to need to do in the region of 12 laps on his softs. And Widdowmaker makes it out in front of BB. So the undercut didn't work for BB at this point in time. He's going to have to overtake Widdowmaker now. So the plan to get in and get out quickly hasn't worked. Widdowmaker had less fuel to fill than BB did. So if we look at the overhead, we should be able to see all first, second and third in the same shot, and we did, just as they came round the corner. First, second and third all line astern, probably some 10 to 15 car lengths between them. And there's round about just over 8 minutes to go. There's a potential here for 8 further laps, maybe 9 if they really were to get the hammer down. You can see the gap between second and third there. With BB putting in a purple sector for the first stint, he really is flying. As his fastest lap of 52.726 is likely to come under pressure. As we watch Big Marsh cross the start finish line, Widdowmaker won't be far behind, and BB the same. Widdowmaker fastest lap by 0.579 of a second. And there it is, BB smashes as his lap time with a 52.346. We don't really want to go in car and lose missing this battle, so is BB at the ready point to make the overtake? He isn't. Widdowmaker dives in narrow and closes that entry. It's been such a clean fight between these two, demonstrating a level of respect for both the track awareness and the other driver. Never quite fully closing it at all, leaving enough room to make a pass if it needs be. Widdowmaker really cutting that apex, keeping it safe, not wanting the penalties. Widdowmaker still to serve a penalty as he starts to try and break the toe, moves over to the right, moves back to the left. If BB wants to take that inside line, it's going to be his, and it looks like he's going to try for it. Oh, it looked like there was contact, but I'm sure there wasn't. BB manages not to let Widdowmaker back up the outside this time. So what distance are we away? Can we see the second and third behind them? No, it's just a little bit more of a distance. What we've got is we've got Big Marsh running first on the track. Between them you've got Winner and Az fighting their own battle for 6th place between Widdowmaker and BB. BB not looking like he's managing to pull wholly away from Widdowmaker at this point. Widdowmaker's managed to put in his fastest lap of the race of 52.906, so he's also dipped into the 52s. Just under 6 minutes remaining of the race. Big Popper, we haven't seen him for a few laps. He's up into 5th place, chasing down JB. Winner and Az, we've seen him in the front battle. They'll be taking blue flags. It looked like Winner was leaving the track. That was the lag affecting what the racers see. And Widdowmaker isn't beaten at this point. He's still on the tail of BB. But nobody seems to be able to close the gap on Big Marsh. Big Marsh is just managing to hold that gap. At some point these two guys are going to have to possibly give up on their battle and let second and third place through. Az looks like he's going for the overtake on Winner this time. It looks like he's alongside. Has he got it? Is he far enough up? It looks like it. No, he's given it up. And BB looks like he's closing in on the back door of Az. He's probably going to take the inside line here. Yes, he is. He dives up the inside. Az is going to leave that room. Yes, he does. Az was respectfully leaving that gap. Now Widdowmaker's going to not want to lose the back of BB at this point. He's going to want to hook onto the back of Az's draft and follow him down the road. But Big Marsh is still managing to keep that distance. Winner's going to have to give up that gap and let BB through. BB is going fast enough. Lap 59 going into lap 60. There's just over 4 minutes left of the race. Such a close battle. First, second and third within 20 car lengths. Fourth and fifth isn't such a close battle, but it's still there to be fought. They're only one corner apart as JB goes round onto the final corner. Az picks up a penalty. 6th and 7th are running so close for a good battle. Widdowmakers just managed to clear Az. Now he's got to get past Winner. If he can get past Winner, he's back on the back door of BB, and they should be able to suck their way along all the way to catch him up. And Winner leaves the gap. Widdowmakers able to cut in. So here we go, lap 61 into lap 62. 3 minutes just over remaining. 3, maybe 4 laps left of the race. All 3, first, second and third, line astern going into turn 1. Less than 10 car lengths between them all. At the end of the day, what makes the difference here is the pit stop strategy and your ability to run faster laps. Widdowmakers probably ruined the fact that he was running 54.5s and not 54s on the hards. Looking at Big Marsh's times, he's run consistent 53 mids, the occasional 52, the odd slip into the 54s. But where are we? We're on lap 62. Not much more happening anywhere else in the race. The battle is on. We're going to count it down. 2.5 minutes remaining of the race. 3 more laps. That gap's getting closer, you know. Big Popper's putting pressure on JB. JB, one mistake and Big Popper's going to pick up 4th place. It's all potential to happen. Widdowmakers keeping the pressure on, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to close up. But definitely Big Marsh has lost a little bit of gap there to BB. BB is certainly closing in. As we close out lap 63, there's definitely a foreshortening of the gap there. It's now 4-5 car lengths, and that's all. Just 1.5 minutes remaining. There's going to be this lap plus 1 more. Oh, did Big Marsh cross that pit line there? Is there a penalty there for Big Marsh? It doesn't look like it. BB's right on his back door. Widdowmakers picked up a penalty on the exit of turn 1. It was Widdowmaker that picked it up. That's going to put a nail in the coffin of Widdowmaker's chance of a P2. He's going to try and get a podium though as Big Marsh and BB go round the last 2 corners. Let's see what happens. Big Marsh, is he going to be able to hold him back as BB got the run down to the final corner? 59 minutes and 20 seconds remaining as they go over the line. It's just a 1 more lap. They're into the final corner now. Final lap of the race. JB in 4th. He's managed to keep a gap over Big Popper. Az goes through the line in 7th. Deadly backlight in 8th. Deadly's coming round. He probably won't make the final lap, but there's Big Marsh holding his nose in front of BB. It doesn't look like BB's going to be able to put that pressure on. Here comes Deadly to come round and take the finish flag. He will finish first of all the races by the looks of it. Big Popper takes the flag first. It looks like he lifted off the gas and didn't race to the line. Deadly picked up a 1-second penalty as he comes through there. BB and Big Marsh running to the line. BB just picks up a penalty. Widdowmaker 3rd. Big Marsh got the victory. Winner picks up a penalty just before the line for 5th. JB just halfway round. He's going to pick up the final finishing face in 4th. Just wait for JB to come round to finish that lap. And there you have it, folks. JB concludes that as the final finisher. And that concludes the race, folks. So let's look at the results. Actually finishing in 1st place for the round is BB. He originally finished in P2, but with the race position pole position, and the fastest lap scores 21 points, which is just 1 point away from the maximum. I'll let you guys study the rest of that, but the standout was BB, definitely racer of the day, coming from low down on the grid, making his way all the way through the pack, and just commiserations for Big Marsh, winning the actual race, but just losing out on the extra points. So we see the final standings, or the current standings after round 4. We can see BB goes to the top of the table, followed by Big Marsh. Not a disappointment after today's race. Big Popper up to 3rd, Widdowmaker in 4th, NW with just a week's absence in P5, Roger in P6, JB P7 just making his way back in, Deadly in 8th, Az in 9th, and Winner in 10th. Still a long way to go with 2 rounds, and with that we move on to the next round at Branzach. Just a big thank you to all the racers, for all of you that watched today. Thank you very much, and a big shout out to our special channel members. Thank you very much. All the best, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.